The night of August 1967 in the rural, quiet expanses of Idaho would become a defining moment in the history of alien encounters. It was an encounter that would leave not only the teenagers involved, but also many who heard their story, deeply shaken and questioning the reality of extraterrestrial life. The case is one of the most chilling and significant alien abduction stories in the history of UFO lore, and it continues to intrigue researchers, believers, and skeptics alike. In the late 1960s, Idaho was far removed from the hustle and bustle of urban life. Its landscape was primarily composed of dense forests, mountainous terrains, and vast expanses of wilderness. It was in this wilderness that a group of teenagers found themselves involved in an encounter that would forever change their lives. This case is known today as the Idaho Teenager UFO Encounter of 1967, and it's a story that involves eerie phenomena, strange lights in the sky, and experiences that couldn't easily be explained. The encounter is among many that would later be grouped into a larger phenomenon of alien sightings and abductions that became prominent in the 1960s and 1970s. As chilling as it was, the case raised more questions than answers. The encounter begins. It all began on the night of August 1967 when a group of teenagers, 4 in total, decided to enjoy a casual trip to the rural wilderness near their hometown in Idaho. The group, eager to escape the monotony of their day-to-day lives, was just out for a night of stargazing and bonding. At the time, Idaho's skies were usually clear and free of the artificial lights that are common in urban areas, making it an ideal location for skywatching. As the night progressed, the teens found themselves near a remote area near Salmon River, a rural section known for its seclusion and natural beauty. It was a clear, peaceful night as they set up a small campfire, occasionally looking up to the night sky to observe the stars. Everything appeared to be peaceful and serene, but that would change within the next few minutes. The teens initially noticed an unusual light far off in the distance. At first, they thought it could have been a plane, but as the light moved erratically across the sky, its movements became much too strange to be something conventional. Unlike the steady, predictable flight paths of aircraft, the light seemed to jump erratically, making abrupt changes in direction, and moving far too quickly to be a plane or a satellite. The light gets closer. As they watched, the strange light began to move toward them. The group was now at full attention. Some were excited, thinking it might be a meteor or some other natural phenomenon. However, as the light continued to grow larger, they began to feel a sense of unease. The object appeared to be hovering and did not seem to be following any known patterns of flight. As the light approached, it began to take on a more defined shape. It was not like anything they had ever seen before. The light intensified, casting an eerie glow over the area, making everything around them appear to glow a dull, ghostly white. Suddenly, the light grew brighter and brighter, so much so that it seemed to engulf the group. Then, as quickly as it had appeared, the light vanished, leaving the group of teenagers stunned and unsure of what they had just witnessed. The UFO's terrifying appearance. The moment the light vanished, the teenagers' confusion only intensified. They felt a strange shift in the atmosphere. The air seemed denser, and a low hum could be heard in the distance. One of the teens, trying to rationalize the strange occurrence, suggested it might be a helicopter, but no sound of blaze was heard. Instead, what followed was an eerie silence that seemed to settle over the group. As the teens stood in silence, looking around, they noticed that the area was now shrouded in an unnatural glow. In the distance, they began to see a craft descending slowly from the sky. The object was now visible in full. A disc-shaped UFO with a smooth metallic surface. It appeared to be about 30 feet in diameter, and its glowing lights emitted a steady pulse, almost as though it was communicating or trying to establish a presence. The object made no sound as it hovered about 50 feet above the ground. An overwhelming sense of fear. As the UFO hovered in front of them, a deep, overwhelming sense of fear began to take hold of the teenagers. The group, paralyzed with both awe and terror, could hardly move. Some felt an almost magnetic force drawing them in, while others were completely frozen in place, unable to speak or act. This feeling of fear and awe was so intense that they could hardly comprehend what was happening. The teenagers watched as the UFO seemed to scan the area. It rotated slowly, casting strange lights on the ground and illuminating the surrounding trees and landscape in a flickering pattern. For several minutes, the teens were helpless, completely immobilized by the paranormal energy in the air. One teen described the sensation as feeling trapped in a dream, unable to break free from the trance-like hold the craft had on them. They were aware of their surroundings, but they could not break free of the UFO's influence. The UFO's departure. After what seemed like an eternity, the UFO suddenly and abruptly began to move again. Slowly at first, the craft began to ascend into the night sky, leaving the teenagers stunned and breathless. It climbed higher and higher, moving into the distance before vanishing into the night. At this point, the teens were left standing in the forest, still in shock and trying to piece together what had just happened. For several moments, no one spoke. The reality of what they had witnessed began to set in, and the full weight of their terrifying experience hit them all at once. Lasting psychological effects. In the days and weeks following the encounter, the teenagers began to experience strange psychological symptoms. Some reported vivid nightmares and a sense of being watched. One teen claimed to have recurring dreams of being examined by beings from the UFO, with vivid details of the craft and the figures that had been inside. Another teen began to experience flashbacks of the event, often triggered by the sight of bright lights or unusual shapes in the sky. These psychological aftereffects are a common aspect of many UFO and alien encounter cases. For some, the emotional trauma and confusion can linger for years, leading to anxiety, sleep disturbances, and a long-lasting sense of unease. Some of the teens involved in the Idaho encounter reportedly sought counseling, while others kept their experiences to themselves, fearful of being labeled as crazy or delusional. Media attention and skepticism. The story of the Idaho teenager UFO encounter eventually reached the media. As with most UFO-related reports, there was a mixture of skepticalness and intrigue. Some people believed the teens had fabricated the story for attention, while others thought the experience could be explained by natural phenomena, such as an unusual weather event or a military test flight. Despite these explanations, there was a large portion of the public who believed the teens had indeed witnessed something extraordinary. A group of UFO researchers, intrigued by the consistent testimonies from each of the teenagers, decided to investigate the case further. They interviewed the teens, conducted psychological evaluations, and even performed lie detector tests. According to the researchers, the teens' stories were consistent, and there was no evidence to suggest they were lying or embellishing the details of their encounter. Theories and speculation. As with most UFO cases, many theories were proposed to explain what the teenagers had witnessed. Some speculated that the object was an experimental military aircraft, but this theory was quickly dismissed due to the strange maneuvers the object had performed. Others suggested that the teens might have experienced mass hysteria or a shared hallucination brought on by the isolation and the excitement of being out in the wilderness. However, the most popular theory among UFO enthusiasts was that the teenagers had indeed encountered an alien craft. The consistent descriptions of the object, the intense psychological aftereffects, and the unexplainable nature of the event led many to believe that the encounter was part of the ongoing phenomenon of alien encounters that had been reported in the 1960s and 1970s. Unanswered questions. Despite the intense scrutiny and investigation of the Idaho encounter, many questions remain unanswered. What were the true intentions of the beings inside the UFO? Why were the teenagers singled out for such an encounter? And most importantly, what is the true nature of the phenomena these teens experienced? While the encounter remains one of the more chilling UFO sightings, no definitive explanation has ever emerged. A legacy of alien encounters. The Idaho teenagers' chilling alien encounter continues to stand as a haunting reminder of the unexplained mysteries of the universe. As more and more people report strange lights, UFO sightings, and alien encounters, this case remains a significant piece of the larger puzzle. Whether the event was a genuine alien encounter or simply a misinterpretation of natural phenomena, it has become a pivotal moment in UFO history, highlighting the fear, wonder, and curiosity that continues to drive human fascination with the unknown. The Idaho case remains unresolved, and its legacy serves as a chilling reminder that the truth about alien life may still be out there, waiting to be discovered.